Gilbert, is James responsive?
Not yet.
Okay, so let's get started. I saw Jason has an item there, so we should start from there.
Oh, okay. I did not see it.
If he's not responsive, let's just cancel the meeting after Jason's stuff is done.
Yeah, we can carry over for next time.
Second here. Okay. Yeah. So this one is for should we get started?
Yep.
Sure. I don't think that this one would need a design doc, but if you guys think we do, and I can have like one page there added. But this one, I mean, it's pretty simple. So we are getting so this is for like supporting support for creating like non-existent host path in a whitelist as a source paths. And I think all of us know like Docker run when specifying like a -v option to use the source path from the host. And do we need me to share the screen?
I just did.
Oh, okay, awesome. Yeah. 1 second. So as a source path, and it'll try to as a source path to get it bind mounted to the container, and the source location didn't originally exist. Docker was still created for you, and of course there is some security concerns in here, so it's not necessarily the safest. But I've seen like use cases, for example, like in ours, we have this kind of dependency. And for creating those paths for later, provision inside of the container, regardless of previous existence or not. And like UCR, actually, it's not like Docker. It builds on launching containers if the original host mount path didn't originally exist. And this actually is a blocker for us for feature parity, like for launching UC. And yeah, and I mean as a trade-off, we understand the security original intent for security concerns and stuff, and so we are proposing to create a whitelist instead. So things under that whitelist would be created instead. But if there's nothing in the whitelist, and it's just the host path isolator will behave exactly like what it did. And this could be also a column. So yeah, this could be like a column separated path-like, POSIX like path-like string. So you can specify multiple paths under which the source path, host path as a source path will be created. So we'd like to know what you guys think about the proposal. And yeah, and also naming. G and Gilbert and I had a discussion previously on the naming for the agent flag. It's --host underscore path underscore volume underscore force creation.
Jason, I have one question. So,
yeah.
So for the host path volume, we support either directory or as a file. If it is a directory, we will make the inside of the container, and if it is a file, we just call touch. So for your case, because it depends on the name, host path volume, force creation, I think you want to cover both cases.
Actually, not necessarily. So I've looked into like what happened with Docker, and if it is non-existent things, it's always a path. So I mean, it also makes sense in this case, though. I mean, if you try to create somewhere in there and you don't know what's the original type, and usually you safely assume that's a directory.
Yeah. Okay. Sounds good to me.
So my question on this is, looks like you just specify a bunch of paths. Like, are we considering adding support for like things like blob syntax in the future? That, hey, I want to allow host paths to be created under something like varlib foo star, not like a specific directory. Like,
So that would make sense too. That would make sense too. I think the first, the easiest to implement here is a whitelist of paths for for things to create. But if we detect, for example, like later we can add a code to detect whether it's a glob or not, and if it is a glob, and we don't treat them as treat the rule as creating for creating subdirectories instead, but we treat like the rule for exact match.
Yeah, I'm just thinking. So can you give me one use case that you guys have right now? Like, which directory you want to force create on the host?
So we have this thing like for secrets called Langley, and that one is that one unfortunately due to the previous like kind of rule, it's applied to all of the containers, and all of those containers, they would have the slash Langley directory across the fleet, regardless whether it has that specific directory or not. But usually, like we have around half of our services with that, but this is kind of assumed. But I would say, of course, this is not really the strongest case. But I would say, I've seen other cases of like they try to create the directories and then do later provisionings.
I see. Okay, so basically you have some directory and you want to, it's not always created on the host, and you want to use this. I mean, in that case, like, are you guys okay with just a Boolean flag, like just force creation or not?
I mean, originally we were thinking about using this case, right? But just I was saying, if we want to deprecate this, actually it would be safer for us to use a whitelist instead.
I know, but I think it just whitelist. Like, we need to figure out what exact the syntax. I think path.
Yeah. So in this case, in this case, if we use equals slash, and that actually behaves exactly the same as Boolean. What do you think? Because
I see. You're saying like the directory of, like, you can create a directory underneath every single segment in that flag.
Exactly.
If it's a slash, then you can create arbitrary things under slash.
Exactly. And then for our case, we will use Langley as a single directory under as a single directory in there, and then everything else would be if they are under Langley and they are able to the container will be launched and the directory will be created. But if it's not under that, and it will behave exactly the same as the current host path isolator.
Okay, yeah, I think this is probably better. Okay, so I always initially thought that you guys are like just do exact match. Sounds like just like do a prefix match.
Right, this is a prefix match.
Okay.
I can add like my I can change this to make sure it's like clarified.
Yeah, in that case, like I would suggest to change the name of the flag to something like host path volume force creation underscore prefix, something like this.
Okay, forced creation by a prefix. Okay, that actually works pretty well.
So I want to put one thing. So in all the other agent or master thread, have we ever like define a group of directory by colon separated? I forget. Do you guys remember? Have we ever do that before?
Sorry.
I think this is just the past syntax. I think that's okay. like just whatever you specify the path environment, the same way you specify that. I think that's probably okay.
Yeah, because this is not a single directory. It could be multiple, and it could be long as well. So I just want to ask, like, do we want to like have a specific protobuf or JSON to allow operators specify this list more explicitly instead of like column separated?
Well, I mean, that's also for, so regex is actually more complicated. I would say maybe try to make it simple and let people have really, like complicated use case for it.
I think what Gilbert says, like maybe just a JSON array of strings rather than
Yeah, but like I would say, for if it's a flag and JSON would be too complicated, and just using, for example, like the column separated string seems like more POSIX-y from my point of view.
Yeah, but I think the benefit of JSON is you can put the config in a file. Yeah, you can load the config from a file.
Right.
Versus like you have to specify an agent flag, which can be super long.
So how about this? Like, if we detect something like on the starting with file and colon slash, and then we do that, and then if that it's not the case, and we use them this POSIX. I'm fine either way. Just like trying to make this case simplified.
Yeah, I think I will be fine. This is like similar to like dash resources that we support both.
Right.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
I think more plain to be a JSON array that Gilbert said, because like I always imagine that if the operator wants to set up this, there's a config file for this, and then they can just change the config file without changing agent flags.
Fair point.
You can use like Puppet to roll out those files without changing the agent configuration, which is part of the script, which is very hard. I mean, it's not easy to change compared to like a config file.
Yeah, and I think implementation of this is not. It's also very simple. Like you just define a simple protobuf message as an internal one in containerizer proto, and then it only contains a repeated string, which is the path. And you could like just call like protobuf JSON to convert from JSON to a protobuf, and then you can consume it.
But I also see the argument that if like just a slash or a slash full, it's easier to have one single string there rather than like the path like syntax versus like having a JSON array which have those close that you have to do. I think I'm fine with both. I don't think that's a
just a small concern on API level.
Yeah, for us, I think it will be nice to support like array. Whether we support both or not, it's up to you.
Yep.
That makes sense, Jason.
Yep. Sure. I think I'm done here.
Okay, sounds good. Sounds like James is not here. Maybe we can just hang that to the next time.
Yep.
But we should look into the design doc and see if there's any issue. All right.
Yep. So I think we can end this meeting early. And thanks for joining, guys.
All right. See you
next time.